for this final text structure, we are going to be working on problem solution. So we have covered everything so far. Hopefully you've stuck with the same topic or maybe changed one time, which was okay. But now we are at problem and solution. I am on pages 10 and 11 in your notebook right now. And that's where we are going to be working from. Now, problem solution and cause and effect are very, very similar in the sense that one thing leads to many things happening, but they are different in the sense that when there is a problem solution, there is actual action, intentional action being taken by someone or something or some kind of organization in order to solve a problem. So when I did my cause and effect example of the beach, I was talking about there being sand in everything. The cause is sand, and the effect is it's everywhere. That's just cause and effect. No matter what you do, these are the things that can happen. So then what I am going to be thinking about is how to use my topic now to create a problem that can actually be solved. And I went back to my cause and effect because that may be the way to go. I could go back to sand now and not just talk about it as cause effect, like here's what happens, but my problem could become sand, and now I'm going to work to solve that problem. Okay. You will see that this will work the same way as cause and effect, that there should be multiple problems and one solution. So all these things happen, and so here's what we're doing about it. Or I should see where there is multiple or one problem and there are many ways to solve that problem. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example with my topic, and then I will try to give you a few different examples that might work for yours. So if I'm going to name, I'm going to use the same graphic organizer I did for cause and effect. You will notice there are a bunch of different ones here, but I like circles and lines. Okay, so I might name for my sand becoming the problem. Sand in everything is a problem. So then what I will start to do here is start to name solutions for sand being in everything. So I might put lids on food. Okay, that'll keep sand, oh, you can't even see me. That might keep sand out of food. I might wear sunglasses. Sunglasses and a hat to keep it from getting underneath my in my contacts and in my hair. Let's see where else I said sand went. Over here, food and drinks, it's in your hair, so I kind of stopped there. So I could think of something else that would help me with sand getting everywhere. Maybe that part of it is to, like, you know how they have those showers? I don't know if you've ever been to a beach, but they sometimes have like a shower so you can shower off the sand before you leave beach. Okay, so this is a problem, and there's lots of different ways that I can solve the problem of sand getting into everything. You may have a certain play in a sport that the problem needs to be solved, and it requires you to do something. So an example might be, there's a couple of ways you could go. So I could do one problem is that COVID was spreading. Some people are doing that topic. So multiple things happened. Stores had 6-foot guidelines. You have to wear a mask everywhere you go. And we went to online learning. So those are things that were actually done. They weren't just the effects of COVID spreading, but they were actually things that were done to solve the problem of COVID spreading. You could also take that a different way and do multiple problems, like COVID was spreading too fast, up more than they could carry. And so the solution of those two things, that the way that they solved that, they did something about it by kind of shutting things down for a little while. Maybe you have that pollution is the one problem, and the way that we solve the problem of pollution might be that we recycle, or we use a composting system, or we reuse items that we purchase from the stores instead of throwing them away. You could also look at the, maybe there's environmental problems. I'm trying to take some examples both ways here. But there's environmental problems like the pollution or the big plastic heap the size of Texas in the ocean somewhere, and the air quality. And then the way that they're solving that is that maybe the government has some kind of regulation for it. Video games are filled with problems. There's a problem that gets solved, that happens, and then there are things that you have to do as a character to solve that problem. Again, I'm not going to be as well versed in video games, and I apologize for that. Maybe there is something in a sport where you're having, if this person is having multiple issues in different skills in a game, their 3-pointers are off and their free throws aren't working and something else. And then maybe your solution to those problems is that you have to practice outside of sports practice time. Or maybe your coach notices all these issues with your team. At the game, maybe you were overthrowing in baseball, you weren't choking up on the bat correctly, and you were doing something else. And then the solution, the way that it's solved by someone actually doing something about it, is that they focus on those things in practice. Maybe you have a pet. The problem, like I had my dog, she liked to pee on the carpet downstairs, which was really cute. So that would be a problem that I want to solve because I can't just let her pee on the carpet. So we tried to discipline her and that didn't work. So the problem was she was peeing on the carpet. So one solution was disciplining of her. Another solution is we gated off the area where she wanted to pee. And then the third solution was we made sure that she was in a bedroom before we left. So again, problem solution requires, this one can feel tricky simply because it requires action. It's not like a tornado that's the cause and then the effects are destroyed buildings. That's just what happens. The solution and problem solution comes in after the stuff's happened, like now what? So taking that example, the problem might be the destroyed houses. And so now the solution is that we start cleaning up the process. We contact insurance to figure out what we need to do to rebuild our houses. And we are getting relief from outside people coming in. So sometimes going back to that cause and effect and pulling one of those items that was an effect and turning that now, okay, so this is now a problem. What would somebody do about that problem? So that might really help you to go back to page 9 on this one. And remember, this one is tricky, but part of what I'm looking for is that a problem is solved or multiple problems get solved. Someone has to actually take action to do something about it. I have to put the lids on my food. It's not just going to be there. I know to bring sunglasses and a hat because I know that that's how it's going to work to solve that problem. Okay. So again, this one is a little trickier. Make sure you pause while you think of something or email me or Teams me if you can't come up with an idea. Send me your topic and I will see if I can help you a little bit. But think of a problem that gets solved. Go back first to your cause and effect. And see if there's anything that you can do here. Even here, the cause and effect of irrigation and things leading to job specialization. Well, the problem could be that there was nothing for people to do. Like they didn't need all these farmers. So then the way that they started to solve that is they had job specialization. They had people who were doing more traveling and trading. So they had people doing different things at that point. All right. Go push pause until you have your graphic organizer finished and then come back to do your rough draft of your paragraph. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. So if you're good, you're good. Okay, so once we have our problem and solutions laid out, you are going to go over to page 10 and you are going to decide, just like we did with cause and effect. Do I have one problem and lots of ways to solve it? Or do I have lots of problems with one way that those things got solved? Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is take a look at which one of these two applies to you. For mine, I have one problem with multiple solutions, okay, because the problem is sand, and I have 3 solutions for that. Get for at least 2 solutions. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Sentence number 1 says to name the problem. So again, the problem blank has many solutions. So I'm going to say the problem of sand has many solutions. Okay, so I have told my reader, number 1, I'm going to talk about problem and solution because I use that language in my topic sentence. And I've also named my topic as sand at the beach. Problem of sand at the beach. Okay, so this is problem and solution. I'm telling your reader that I'm going to talk about that. If you have multiple problems, one solution, you can do the same thing. There are many problems that can be solved by blank. So this would be like, there are many problems that can be solved by temporarily closing parts of the United States. And then you would talk about the issues with COVID that led to the need to close down parts of the state. Okay. There are many problems that can be solved by the coach requiring extra practice time at practice. There are many problems that can be solved if you're doing something with travel. Maybe you're doing something with being on time or not packing certain things or the crowds or things like that. Okay, so the problem of sand has many solutions, and then I'm going to copy the sentence number 2. Actually, I don't need to copy number 2. You can delete number 2. You don't need that. You need to name the problem in the first one. So sand, I could also say sand is a big problem at the beach. There are many ways this problem can be solved. I'm already telling you that in my topic sentence, so I don't need to. Okay, so the list of different solutions. You can write one sentence and list the solutions, or list each solution in its own with an added detail. So this is going to get you a higher score because you spent more time and you're doing one sentence per solution. So, for example, here I have my next one is lids on food. That's the first one. One way is to put lids on all food to keep sand out, period. Okay, so I kind of named what it does and then why it helps, because it keeps the sand out of your food. Sunglasses and hat, again, some of these work better than others. Another, I like to tell my reader that I'm switching to another topic here. So another way you can prevent sand this isn't what I think I would revise this, but we're going with it. Another way you can prevent sand, but you can also prevent sand from getting into contacts and hair by wearing sunglasses or a hat. Finally, be sure to shower at the beach. Not like a full shower, but getting all that sand out of you to, I don't know what word I want here, but to flush the sand off as much as possible. For heading to car or room, period. Okay, so you name your problem or your solution, and then you name each of them separately in your paragraph to explain why each of those is going to work. Again, a single sentence with a list will work. It probably won't get you an A, but it will do the job. And I know that this one's tricky because you really have to think of what is someone doing. Someone actually has to do something. There has to be intent to make a change. So, okay, friends, that is it. And you are awesome and good luck, and email me if you get stuck.